So the challenge set up 2 years ago was designed to encourage collaboration across the foundation industries to work together to solve essentially the challenge of the age, which is to decarbonise what is an incredibly intense energy intensive sector to decarbonise. How we're doing that is we are encouraging collaboration through research projects. We have academics collaborating with industry, industry collaborating with their supply chain, and fundamentally delivering change at scale, which will start to solve the challenge. That includes collaborative research and development programs. We are funding the establishment of a glass centre of excellence. We're encouraging the investment community to be involved and pile in cash into this sector to reduce the overall environmental burden. Technology is only part of that solution. We're also working with that community more widely. So this includes things such as skills, equality, diversity and inclusion, and issues around barriers to innovation more broadly than just technology themselves. And these are really critical in order to start to move these industries to a more firm and sustainable future. That is a big question. So I think there's a lot of answers here. So we've got to move urgently and quickly because, believe it or not, 30 years to solve the challenge of net zero is not very long. These sectors are very capital intensive and they take a long time to change and move that supertanker. So one of the big challenges is around the fact that it just takes a long time to change everything. Also, because it's very, very expensive to change facilities, very, very expensive to invest in new technologies. There's a reluctance to do anything which is difficult or which is yet to be proven, coupled with the fact that in these they're a commoditized set of industries, and margins are quite low. So the amount of money they have to spend on it, risky and innovative things, is also significantly reduced. And that's where we come in, because we de-risk some of that investment by proving those technologies at a scale which is meaningful and enabling them to start to change their ways. But it's not just about the technology, it is also about the mindset. And luckily, really, we've started to see that happen. Many of these companies, even 5 years ago, didn't consider decarbonisation as their top priority, whereas I do believe now that is the way the world is going. You know, we see it in the press, we see it from businesses, and we see it from policy makers. Decarbonisation and removing the environmental burden that many of these sectors currently hold as a major challenge. And so I think the mindset is starting to change. It's just now getting everyone together in the right direction to make that change happen. So I guess I would say this, but really I'm really proud to be part of what is the start of the movement around the foundation industries. The term has been around a little before I kind of was involved, but certainly being part of this challenge and starting to help these sectors, which I do generally believe is the challenge of our lifetime, to decarbonise the world, and the foundation industries are a significant proportion of the decarbonisation needed to make us in a more sustainable footing is really important. So my involvement in developing technologies, supporting businesses, academics and policymakers in seeing the right way to deliver a net zero world is one of my most proud moments. Actually, the biggest change is really around sustainability. So I've been involved in sustainability of one sort or another for 20 years. And certainly around resource efficiency, so not necessarily about energy generation, resource efficiency has kind of ebbed and flowed in terms of whether it's been in vogue or not. And really over the past 5 years, we start to see that resurgence again in this idea of sustainability and resource efficiency being absolutely crucial to how businesses work. And really the mindset change has been dramatic, and largely with things such as the Blue Planet effect and the David Attenborough effect and the legislation brought in around net zero. I do think the most dramatic change over my working life has been what was this rather fringe topic around sustainability is now absolutely core to everybody's business. And you see out there now investment houses making decisions on environmental and sustainability grounds. You see all companies worried about it in a good way. They're worried about it because they want to change and recognize the world is changing. And I think that it's very exciting space to be in at the moment. And that is very different to what it was 20 years ago, where it was seen as a purely an energy generation problem and not really something that the production industries needed to worry about too much. Well, actually, I think probably the slightly cute answer is I'm looking forward to seeing people. I think it's going to be a great opportunity to get around and network and talk to people for the first time in 2 years. What a great place to do it in. You know, we're going to see a lot of interesting technologies across 2 days. I'm looking forward to meeting fellow speakers and people from industry that we've probably helped as well, so that we can have those conversations. Because my lifeblood, I occupy a slightly weird place within the world, and that's I do straddle both industry and government, and so I need that feedback from what's happening in real world in order to make better decisions so that we can help them again. So without that contact, it is quite hard over a Zoom chat to do that, and seeing people face to face is something I'm really looking forward to. So interestingly, it's going to be to try to change the mindset of where people focus. Lots of the conversations over the past 10, 15 years have been about how big pieces of technology are going to solve the challenges around sustainability in the production industries. And actually, I'm going to turn on the head and say it's the little things. So rather than focusing on carbon capture or fuel switching to hydrogen or biofuels, it's more around resource efficiency. So those little changes, little things which start to kind of build up, which we can implement now rather than in 15 years, are going to make the bigger change. Indeed, some work that I looked at suggests that resource efficiency and energy efficiency, which impact positively, there are positive impacts on the bottom line of most businesses. Those things could impact up to 30% carbon abatement savings over the next 30 years. So it's more than carbon capture and storage, more than hydrogen. What that means ultimately is that changing to a more sustainable future is actually good for business and not something to be scared of, and not something that necessarily costs a lot of money to get going. It just requires a bit of a change in mindset on how we do that business.